Hello again, folks. Just picking up on the Nottingham Forest game that we started here. What we're going to do in this short video is just show you a bit of training, how I tend to work this out. So if we pop into training here, we've got like to use a few different schedules for different types of players, and as you can see, you can edit these out. So we're going to do here one for our attacking midfielders. So we'll have fitness always set to medium for any player that's starting, that's playing in the first 11 or the first squad, I should say. Keep the tactics light for those guys, shooting medium, skills intensive. That's basically it. Then we've got our strikers, will just be fitness medium, tactics light, skills medium, shooting intensive. I'm going to edit this one out for our wingers. It's basically the same schedule as the attacking midfielders. However, what I like to do is just keep it as a separate schedule, because you can kind of keep track of if you've got enough in your squad. So I like to have like 5 wingers, 2 lefts, 2 rights, and somebody that can play both ideally. We'll be wanting 4 strikers altogether. We want 2 attacking midfielders, because the attacking midfield role, you can kind of bring other players into that role usually if you get somebody that's a bit versatile. Then we'll have for our centre halves, defenders, and we'll have tactics intensive, skills medium for these guys. Goalkeeper, I usually just put up the tactics and the skills as well. They've got intensive goalkeeping. They're on light fitness training. I wouldn't recommend putting goalkeepers on medium fitness training because they just don't need it and they will get tired. So there's your goalkeeper settings there. In this unused slot, I'm going to go with my central midfielders, and basically this will just be like the same as the general settings, because these are all round players. They need a bit of everything there. It is the same as the general setting, but like I say, just to group them in so you can track how many you've got in your squad. Yeah, and with the general, I usually just put the skill training to intensive. That's for players that are not involved, basically. So this will just give you an idea of what you're starting with Nottingham Forest as well. So you've got 2 strikers there. We've got Rogers as a winger. Freeman's kind of versatile. You can play him in a number of different roles. We'll start with him in attacking midfield, I think, here. Simica, not Simicha, as I said in the first video. Simica's a good centre half there. Andy Gray, great player because he's a winger that can play on both sides. David Prutton, centre half there as well. Williams is a good midfielder. Jones can go into that role. Edwards is a centre back. We've got Jim Brennan as a left winger. Another centre back here in John Olav Hed, is it? Jack Lester, half decent backup striker. Harewood's another one that's kind of versatile, but we'll put him as a striker just now. Eugene Bopp, he's another one. He's only 17. Like, he becomes a pretty good player, although he's not spawned very well in this one. So you can see, and this is a good point to make actually when you're looking at players. If you've got players in your squad, or you're looking at players where you've got low ratings for stamina and strength, I would just say don't bother with them, because they'll get injured all the time. They run out of gas. They can't play the full 90 minutes. So unfortunately on this game version, Eugene Bopp is not going to be worthwhile, which is a shame because he's a pretty good player if he starts spawn well. Got Vaughan centre half there. We can put Reed. He can either play as a winger or attacking midfielder. So we've actually got a fairly decent bunch of wee wingers there to start off with. Jermaine Genius, so we'll probably shift Andy Reid into the attacking midfield. Got 2 of these guys, 4 strikers, wingers, 5 wingers, 5 centre halves, 6 centre halves actually. So, and the thing is, like, with the tactics we're using, these players are good enough, like, to get up. So where we're short is we're going to need 2 central midfielders, and we're going to need a goalkeeper. because Bart Williams is going, so we won't bother with him. So you can see 3 slots left in the squad here, because I tend to go for a full squad of 24 first team players, and then the rest will just be back up in the background in the reserves. And that's plenty at any level as well. So we're looking for, ideally we're wanting 2 central midfielders here and a goalkeeper to bring in as well. So we'll be looking for hopefully a few little diamonds in the rough in the 3 transfers, which we'll show you about in the next video. But yeah, that's the training schedules that I would go with there. It's pretty basic stuff, like, but then we've got coaches as well. So you'll have your 5 coaches and your assistant manager. You can see here we've got Ian Bowyer. He's not bad. I like to look for coaches that have got at least 16 for coaching outfield or goalkeepers. You can find them sometimes at the start of the game. You'll get them without clubs, or you'll get younger ones who will, once you sign them, their stats will really go up. But when you're starting with no money, like at Nottingham Forest here, you have to kind of just start with what you've got. So Bowyer can coach a fair different amount of things here. Ian White, he's half decent fitness coach, so we'll keep him on fitness. You see there it says coaching style fitness based. So when you've got a coach that's, and this is probably self-explanatory, but just to go through it, you don't want to put a fitness based coach coaching your tactics, because that's just not what they do. And again, like, sometimes it doesn't really make sense, because you've got this guy Nick Marshall here, coaches goalkeepers but plays a direct attacking style of play. So does that really fit with what you want to teach a goalkeeper? Not really. So Beasley's probably better for the goalkeeper coach, so I'll go with him. Which means this guy's not really worth keeping a hold of, so we'll get rid of him. Again, just a fitness coach. His stats might improve actually, because he's young, he's under 40. Coaches under 40, if you pick them up, a lot of the time they'll develop into really top coaches. And then we've got McParland here, he'll be good for my kind of shooting and skills there. So that's, from what I start with, that's actually quite a fairly well balanced coaching schedule. You don't want, if you can avoid it, you don't necessarily want one coach doing more than one section of it, but that's absolutely fine there for what we've started with. So what we'll do is we'll just have a look to see a bit more on the staff side of things. So we've got 3 physiotherapists in here, that's all you need, so we'll just keep them as they are. Might want to check their contracts, but I think they'll all be fine. Maybe offer this guy a new contract. It was a physio. And yeah, like I say, 3's fine for that. With your scouting's not going to matter too much at the moment, because we don't have any money. But what you're looking for is judging player ability, judging player potential. So you want these to be around the 15-16 mark for them to pick up good results. But to be fair, that's still fairly decent. So we've got that guy there, and we've got Bradley. Sometimes as well, which is a good little tip, if you find a scout, and they do come up quite often, where their coaching attributes go up as well. So if you see a scout that's got coaching goalkeepers, coaching outfield players like 16 plus, you can just give them a job as a coach as well. And again, this guy's quite young, so his actual attributes might go up as well. And then we can search for coaches and managers here. Coaches and assistant managers, I should say. So some of them will start unemployed, as you can see, and you can sometimes pick up some real good coaches at the start. So we've got Kenny Swain here, Brian Hall. Might bring this guy in actually. And you can also check for assistant managers, but like, see there, he's starting unemployed. He's not really up to scratch for Nottingham Forest, but with smaller clubs you could bring that guy in as your assistant manager. He is fitness based, so it may not be worthwhile for it. But yeah, so that's that's training and coaches covered. So yeah, set that up. It works well for me. It's good for developing skills on the strikers as well. You'll see their finishing go up, and with the general setting, just pop it up to intensive there for the skills, and then any kind of young players that you've got sitting waiting playing reserve football, they'll tend to develop a bit better and improve as well. I mean, you can you can add a few extra ones if you wanted to do developing programs for defenders or attackers. You can do that as well, but given that I don't really have the players there at the moment, that's kind of pointless. So yeah, that's training covered. So we'll catch you in the next video where we'll go over transfers, who we're going to bring in, what's available on the free transfer market, and also some hidden gems in the No Club where you can search for them by name. I'll show you a bit of that as well. So thanks for watching part 2, and I'll catch you later in the third video.